What's going on, beautiful people of YouTube? This is Rain Bean, and welcome to another episode of the Sucky Side, a series I started up because apparently there's some people in this world that like to hear me bitch. Now, as you can tell from the thumbnail and title, we are bitching about something that's very near and dear to a lot of people's hearts, and that's Nintendo. But before you hit that dislike button, understand one thing. Nearly a third of my collection is nothing but Nintendo. They have a very special place in my heart. I absolutely love Nintendo, but at the same time, growing up with Nintendo and collecting for so many years, there is definitely some sucky things we need to talk about. Now, I'm sure not everything on this list you're going to agree with, and there's probably going to be some things you feel I've left out, and if that's the case, please let me know in the comments below. I'm super excited to see what this comment section looks like after this video hits. I got a feeling it's going to be lit. Xbox, PlayStation, Sega, Atari, Coleco, it doesn't matter. I'm coming after all of them. Collecting for as long as I have. I got sucky things to say about all of them. But anyways, guys, I want you to sit back and relax. This is the sucky side of Nintendo. Let's start bitching. I think a big part of Nintendo's success stems directly from how greedy they can be sometimes with the products that they sell to you. Did you ever want to scour the internet for Donkey Kong related porn on your Nintendo Wii console? Of course you did, we all did, but you weren't able to do that without this nice new internet adapter to go with it. How much do you like that Nintendo 3DS of yours? You probably love it all the way up until the son of a bitch dies on you because it doesn't come with a charger. How about that nice brand new Nintendo Switch console you're playing with? Boy, it's a shame when those Joy-Con controllers die and you have to use the actual console when you want to play on that nice new 4K TV you got because you don't have the Nintendo charging grip controller for the damn Joy-Cons themselves. Nintendo's always done stuff like this where they don't give you everything upon purchase. And surely it would be nice of them if they did. Just because you're spending an exuberant amount of money on their products, you'd think they'd give you everything within the box, but a lot of times Nintendo doesn't. A sucky side of Nintendo is they make it extremely difficult for YouTubers and streamers and people alike when it comes to doing anything with their content. I had 2 videos up way in the past of me playing Contra. The second I uploaded them, boy, I was hit with copyright notices simply because of the soundtrack. Nintendo has always made it difficult for streamers, YouTubers, it doesn't matter. You literally have to be signed up with them to have any legality when it comes to using their items. And yes, that is a pain in the ass. You would think Nintendo would want all this free advertising when you have such big YouTubers playing their games, and majority of the time their games are awesome, and it's not like they're going to badmouth them, but Nintendo definitely regulates their content. And it seems to me they only let their content go out to people that are completely in favor of Nintendo, and that's a little bit biased if you ask me, Nintendo. So why is it Nintendo has such an issue with third-party support on any of their systems? I can remember all the way back from the beginning, they've always had issues with any developer putting any third-party content on any of their consoles. It's been done, it's not often. It's either A, too damn difficult to develop for unless your name happens to be Nintendo, B, people move on to bigger and better things like disc-based systems, hence the Nintendo 64 dying off. C, Nintendo's foot got entirely too big, crushing the whole project because Nintendo likes to censor and regulate a game until it's something entirely different or no game at all. Wouldn't it be nice to walk down the streets of Liberty City beating things senseless with your Wiimote and baseball bat attachment? Absolutely, but that's not going to happen because Nintendo likes to put their big censorship cock on everything, and you ain't going to be able to see something like that. So third-party developers either don't develop for it at all, or they don't have the same game that you once thought it was going to be on that system. I really hope this is not going to be the case with the Nintendo Switch and we actually do get to see a lot of third-party support on that system, but so far the only thing that I've really seen on that marketplace is a bunch of indieware and shovelware. So Nintendo, please take that third-party support and kick it up a notch. So who else out there has a strong feeling the SNES Classic Edition is going to suffer the same fate as the NES one? It's going to be sold out in a matter of seconds. Scalpers are going to reign supreme when they charge $400 for this thing. And Nintendo's considered a hero because they put out such an amazing masterpiece, but they're only going to put it out in limited numbers and cancel it by Christmas so no one else can get any, thus hence making it an extremely collectible item. Nintendo has done things like this in the past with things like Amiibos, and when they did do the NES Classic Edition, they knew exactly what they were going to do. and I think it's bullshit. They got a product that people want and people will buy. Why can't they continually make this thing? Make it for 5 years until you actually see numbers dip. It just doesn't make sense to me to put a product out there, let it boom instantly, and just take it right away. I don't know why they would do that unless they're making this extremely inflated market for no reason. Why is it Nintendo's always got to be a few years behind when it comes to anything that they make? I remember when the Wii console came out, and it was the only one at the time that did not have high definition graphics. Now, yeah, I understand they like to make budget-friendly consoles that everyone can afford, and quality is better over quantity, and yes, they do pump out some extreme quality content sometimes. But at the same time, they do not like to make anything on par with everything else at the time, and I don't understand that. Nintendo, I got a PlayStation VR. It's absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's got a long way to go, and there's going to be some room for improvement. But you know, the first thing that I thought of whenever I first heard about VR coming into fruition, holy shit, there's going to be a Virtual Boy 2. Obviously, that's not the case. I haven't heard the first thing about it, but wouldn't it be absolutely amazing to go through the fields of the Mushroom Kingdom in VR entirely with the new Virtual Boy 2? I really hope that comes to be. Nintendo, get your head in the game. Get on par with everyone else. It's not bad to do it. Don't be that kid in class that likes to sit entirely too close to the teacher and be the odd man out. Why is it Nintendo feels it needs to isolate itself amongst everything else? I don't know why that is. I remember when they stopped going to E3, the first thing that came to my mind was, holy shit, Nintendo must feel like it's better than everyone else, or at least that's the first taste that came to my mind. Now, yeah, keep in mind, they came up with this thing that's called the Nintendo Direct. It costs less money. They can make this script. There's no live hiccups, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like they want to be a team player. I used to love watching E3 and watching every single corporation out there go head to head, but now it just seems like I'm watching Xbox and PlayStation and then catching YouTube later on for Nintendo Direct, and that don't seem cool. You know what really sucks about Nintendo? I love them entirely too much, and they make me pay outrageous prices for stupid merchandise from them. I don't know why that is. I got an extremely soft spot in my heart for anything Nintendo related. You can have anal beads that are simply $15.99, but you can paint them red and put an M in the official Nintendo logo on there. Next thing you know, you're paying $59.99 for the same bead. I don't know why that is. Anything Nintendo sells, you best believe you are paying a high price for it. So usually, the only way that I get Nintendo merchandise is finding it secondhand at flea markets and yard sales, which is usually really good to find stuff like that. Unless you want to pay $29.99 for a 4-inch Toad, you better get out there and start hunting so you can pay $1 or $2. But Nintendo, you've always done that with no matter what you sold. If it's got the logo on there, you best believe you're paying a pretty penny for it. And even if it's not official, people can put Mario, Luigi, they can put Zelda, Link, it doesn't matter. You are going to be paying a high dollar for it because people want it. And that's the sad thing about it, supply and demand. But at the same time, it would be really nice not to have to pay an arm and a leg for Nintendo products. You know what pisses me off, and it should really piss you off too? I don't know why they do this. The only thing that I can think of is they're extremely greedy for this. I remember when the Wii came out with their virtual console, and you can download games like The Legend of Zelda for the NES. Why did I have to turn around and pay for it again on my 3DS or on my Wii U? I don't know why that is. If I have the same network ID that you make me use, it should be in that system to where, hey, I bought this game, I don't need to buy it again on another system. I should just be allowed to download it. Nintendo, that's a very shitty thing you do, and it just seems extremely greedy. Holy fuck, the shovelware. I don't understand it. Anytime you have a successful console like the Wii or the Nintendo DS, you allow yourself to get infiltrated by heaps of shovelware games that no one wants to play. I really hope that's not the case with the Nintendo Switch, but I'm already starting to see it happening. Now, yeah, a lot of you out there would say, hey, no, those are just indie games, but at the same time, there's a point when indie games turn from indie games to shovelware games that no one wants to play because you don't have any other games to put on that system. So something that can relate to that, Nintendo needs a shit ton more first-party games out there. All we really get are your Marios, Zeldas, Kirby's, Donkey Kongs, that sort of thing. Keep in mind, we all love those games. Those are absolutely great, and I hope they don't stop. But since they're so far and few in between, we don't get those that often. They need a lot more first-party titles out there so I can feel like I'm really getting my money's worth. Xbox, PlayStation, they got exclusives out the ass, but Nintendo, all you're really good at is coming off with spin-offs and sequels to all your previous games. Come on, Nintendo. Get off your ass and make some new first-party games. You know what I call my Nintendo Switch? I call it the Zelda machine because it had a terrible launch lineup of games. There was nothing awesome. When I first saw Mario Odyssey, I was like, holy shit, that's going to be one of the exclusives coming out for it. It's extremely going to have an awesome launch. But no, it only had Zelda and some other games that I will never play. Now, yeah, some of you out there may be like, oh, those games were actually pretty good, but not to me. They weren't appealing. Now, obviously, Zelda, I put hours and hours and hours into that. It was absolutely incredible. But now that I beat that game, That Switch just sits in there. I'm waiting for Mario Odyssey because that's the only thing that I feel is coming out that I'm going to play on it. Nintendo, why do you got to make so many versions of one thing? I don't understand it. I remember when the Wii console came out and then it went to a different Wii and then to a different Wii. And like I think the latest model we got now is that little mini red one that's like a top loader. I don't understand it, Nintendo. Put your time and money into something else. Now, yeah, other consoles do that. You'll see 2 or 3 versions of an Xbox or PlayStation, but Nintendo can go one step beyond that and make many versions of that system. You got the new Nintendo 2DS coming out. I don't understand it. The only difference is it folds now. I remember when the 2DS first came out and they said, you know what, we're going to make a budget-friendly version of the DS that you can play these 3DS games on and not have to worry about spending that extra money. But this thing's $150 and it folds. I don't understand that, Nintendo. Put the extra $50 in there and just go buy you an awesome 3DS if you're going to do that. Nintendo, put that time, put that money, make us something awesome. We don't need 30 versions of the same thing you've already given us. A term that I've heard other YouTubers use, and I think it's absolutely brilliant, it's called a Nintendo move. And what that is whenever Nintendo comes up with a wacky idea or product or gimmick, and they implement it at either the best or the worst times. It could be a double-edged sword. I've seen it happen many a times with them, and they do it with everything that they release. Whenever the Wii came out and it had the motion controls, that was a Nintendo move, and it actually turned out to be for the best. Whenever the GameCube came out and they decided to use those very tiny discs that no one can really develop for, that was a Nintendo move that did not turn out to be in their favor. Whenever the DS came out, their gimmick of having 2 screens. It seems whenever they come out with something, it has to have a Nintendo move involved. Why can't they just have a dedicated console with just a simple basic controller and awesome hardware? Nintendo, leave the gimmicks aside one time and give me just a super awesome console that's on par with the Xbox and PlayStation for once. I would love to see that. You know what sucks about Nintendo? Their online activity. I don't know why they can't get this right. They are, like I said earlier, so late to the times when it comes to anything that they release. I remember when the Wii U came out thinking, oh yeah, I can finally talk to some friends and have a decent online hub, but no, that's not the case. I had to enter some GPS code in order to talk to them, and the only way that I was talking to them at the time was through some typed out, filtered, regulated garbage that by the end of it wasn't even the same message that I sent to them. Come on, Nintendo, take a damn page out of the book from PlayStation and Xbox when it comes to their online setup. And you see how successful they are. Give us that same bit of pride, Nintendo. I don't think I should have to enter some code in order to talk. Now, keep in mind, you're trying to protect people out there, but at the same time, you're making it too difficult to even want to be online. Now, I know what you're thinking to yourself. Oh, Ring Bean, the Nintendo Switch's online activity is absolutely amazing. No, the fuck. Absolutely stupid. Why can't it be easier, Nintendo? Why do you have to make things so difficult? I don't understand it at all. Hey, there's someone online. Let me start a chat with them. Let me add you as a friend. No, Nintendo, you make me jump through hoops just in order to even talk to these people. Oh, I swear to God, if you give up on the Switch like you did with the Wii U and the GameCube, I'm going to be pissed, Nintendo. I've given you too much of my money for you just to say, hey, you know what? We yet again, our Nintendo move did not go the way as planned, and we're going to have to move on to bigger, better things. That's going to piss me off like it did back in the day. Nintendo, I remember when I got the Wii U thinking, you know what, Nintendo's awesome. They have some really cool first-party games on this system. It's going to do really well. It went right downhill. Nintendo gave right up on it, the same as they did with the GameCube. Nintendo Switch, you are having a successful launch, and people are buying the shit out of you, and I swear to God, Nintendo, if you give up on us, me and you are going to have some words. Imagine how different the console market would be had Nintendo actually merged with Sony. Now, if you're not familiar, back in the day, Nintendo and Sony actually had plans to make a dedicated console, which they did, and you can see prototypes of it on YouTube, which is actually pretty damn cool. But Nintendo had this plan in their head that said, you know what? We don't need you, Sony. You're not going to do anything for us, and I don't think you're going to be that successful. Guess what? Boy, Nintendo was wrong on that. That was a Nintendo move right there that I don't think Nintendo should have made at all. Nintendo needs to get its head out of its own ass sometimes and play along with everyone else. Alright guys, that's it. I can't bitch no more. My voice is hoarse as usual. Go ahead and let the comment wars begin. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you feel I've left out, or if there's something you want to bitch about, because I'm sure you're going to. And you know what? That's awesome. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, it's just for fun and games. I love Nintendo. I'm coming after them all. Xbox, PlayStation, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get to them eventually. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.